Hello everyone, welcome to Sunday Night Live. Tonight my guest is Julia von Boehm. She's a fashion stylist. She's behind many campaigns, wonderful red carpet looks. She works with the like of Nicole Kidman, with Uma Thurman. Oh, I see Julia is here. I'll send Julia an invite. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming back, Alpha Remy. So let me send Julia an invite. Yes, here you go. Feel free to send your questions in comments, to write them down in comments. Salut Valérie. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome, Julia.
Hello. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Are you in New York?
I am in the Hamptons, actually.
Oh, with a nice, lovely weather.
Wonderful.
I can see that.
Really wonderful. No, I'm very blessed to have the balance between the Oscars and the life in the greenery.
Yeah, actually, it's a very busy season for you between the Oscars and the Met Gala coming up. So I'm all the more grateful that you find time to come to Sunday Night Live.
But I really got to love you, so it's a pleasure.
Thanks so much. So we have to share with our friends here how we met. I attended a dinner during Fashion Week, and you were co-hosting the dinner with our friends from Nomassé, a French footwear brand, because you collaborated with them.
Look, I mean, it's crazy how like it's a disco ball.
It's perfect with the sun, we can see the glitter, all the glitter.
Yeah. No, I did collaborate with them, and it was wonderful because I always believe in like credible collaborations. I think our clientele and generally like any customer has kind of understood that some uncredible things are not anymore desired, and I rarely collaborate with people unless it's kind of a match, which happens organically and for the love of the product and maybe their love for my style. So it's a great collaboration.
And I was very delighted to meet your mother at this dinner. It was so lovely that your parents attended the dinner.
Yeah, we're like my parents. They always come to Paris as soon as I get to Europe. First of all, they love Paris too, and second of all, it's wherever I go in Europe, they just try to join because we miss each other, living out here. And also, they're my best consultants, I have to say.
Wow.
I also able to work with agents, but my parents, I'm literally. No,
right, you told me that you don't have an agent.
No.
And your parents are your consultants. I like that.
I mean, good. I trust them. They also work a little bit in a similar business because my dad does documentaries. He's going to actually work, and we're going to work together actually on a new documentary on Karl Lagerfeld. He did already 2. And so we're going to work on that together. So, we get each other.
How exciting.
It is, yeah.
And your mother told me that she told me a little bit about your beginnings when you worked as an assistant for Karen Rothfeld at French Vogue. And she said that you learned a lot and you really enjoyed your job there, but you also told them very early on that you wanted to be a freelancer. You wanted, the corporate world was not for you.
No, it has never been for me, unfortunately. And but I had wonderful people who understood that, like Laura Brown, who brought me into the corporate world. Understand, I'm not corporate. Telling everybody else in the company, basically, like she's a bit weird, but she's gonna do great for the magazine. So I kind of just, especially in America, I believe like there's not enough, people just use you and then they drop you. And that's not the same in Europe, I find. But I always liked independence because I feel like then I can really be myself and I can be the most honest to the clients as well that I do. Because even during Install, I did all the, freelance work on the side. I did consulting for brands. I still did my clients. And in the end, I think that's a much smarter way to think about what you can bring to the table.
Mm. And you posted on your Instagram, I saw a post of you, a photo of you with Laura Brown, and you said, "Thank you for accepting me with my flaws," not, and the fact that when Instagramming was more important than doing the annual review, something like this.
Oh God!
Do you remember?
Oh my God! Yes, that was a crazy thing. Like, I know that exists in the corporate world because also the French corporate world is different than the American corporate world. It's a little less corporate, So I didn't know that the annual review was something really important that you have to show up for. So I was like, "Oh, sorry, I can't come, Laura. I'm uptown. I'm posting Instagram."
And she was like, "Okay, fine."
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, that was as far as I could go,
Yeah. So how did you get into fashion? Tell me. We spoke a little bit about Karen Workfeld, but how did you become interested in fashion?
Well, I think like I just was always fascinated by beautiful things. Even small town in Germany, I always liked things to look pretty, and up to the point that when I had to wear like a neck brace at some point because I kind of like broke my neck when I was like 13 or 12. I just didn't appreciate very much that there was just one color of a neck brace. So I started buying some fabrics, some printed ones, some silk ones, some velvet ones, different colors and prints. And I actually started sewing sleeves every evening for the next morning outfit to cover the Bretney's neck brace with different covers that would actually match the outfit of the next morning. So that was already kind of weird, I guess, for growing up in a small town in Germany. And then actually for the, you call it the prom, I guess, here in America, it's Abschlussball in Germany.
Yeah. It's
funny,
we don't have that in France.
No?
No. I've always seen that in TV shows or in movies, but I never in France. It doesn't exist. Anyway, sorry.
No. Anyway, so it's kind of like the final exam. After the final exam, there's a ball, and instead of like buying a dress or anything, I was like, no, I'm going to sew it myself. And I went to buy mosquito net, like the mosquito net that's kind of like stiff, and I sewed my dress out of mosquito net. And then I went to a florist and bought butterflies made out of feathers. You know those things you put in the flowers. It was in the olden times as well.
Yeah.
And I added those to the dress, so I had like butterflies all over, caught in a mosquito net.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't. I don't even have that many pictures of it. It's very sad. But at that point, people didn't document everything yet.
It was pre-Instagram for sure.
Indeed, yes.
And how did you end up working for Vogue Paris?
So basically, after all of these neck braces and mosquito dresses, I kind of decided that I really would like to work in fashion. So my dad and we took the train from Heidelberg and went with my work that I did in my art school to École d'Arts Syndicales, which is the school where actually Valentino went there. Many very famous designers went there. It's very old fashioned. So we went there to apply and they took me, which was incredible. So then I started studying there. It's like a 3-year study until you graduate. I stopped after 2 because by accident I kind of met Karine through, I was very good friends with Mario Tessino's assistant and every night and this and that, we had fun, and at some point one of his assistants was like, Karine is looking for a new assistant, don't you think you would be great for it? I was like, no, absolutely not, I have to finish school, I have to do this. And then he really his name is Hugh Grider, he's he founded a lot of magazines now. He does Wonderland magazine and Amazing magazine. So we stayed in touch and all of this. But basically he forced me to send my resume. He was like, "You sit down now and you don't." I'm like, "Okay." Fine. And after resume, she just wanted me to become, a second assistant for a little while, and then I transferred into first assistant. And then when she actually went to French Vogue and she was asked to become editor-in-chief, she kind of said like, "Oh, can we have a coffee?" And she was super kind. She was like, "I know you're still in school and I need the approval of your parents, but I would like you to come with me to French Vogue." And the approval of the parents was not easy, but as I got a letter from school that I could always go back a year later, that was enough. So I started working with her.
And you never went back to the school?
No.
But it's true, it's a very prestigious school in fashion design.
Yes.
It's really to become a couturier.
Yes, definitely. And I kind of realized quite soon that the precision you need for that, and I think fashion design needs to be quite solitude-ish. You know what I mean? Like they need to be by themselves and not look at people and shut out the noise and all of that. And I kind of realized I prefer working with people, and I just really love the idea of being able to work with designers and consult and create new things with them and give them input. And I really appreciated that. And I was not pattern cutting either. That was very precise.
But you still like the product very much. It's not all about the image. You really like the product itself.
Product, but that's something I think I gained there. First of all, probably in Germany by being like, product has to be good, and also by joining the school, because thankfully I understand all of fashion design. Meaning, like if I work with a designer, I understand the structure of a garment because I did it for 2 years.
Right.
And I think that's all, and not a lot of stylists probably do know that. So it helps you very much in consulting and like working on patterns without saying something that's impossible to do.
Right.
And so it makes you appreciate the quality of the product, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It's very rare. At least for fashion editors, for writers, it's very rare.
Quite rare. So I'm lucky.
And after Karin, so how long did you work with Karin?
I think it was about like 5 years that I was her assistant. At some point, I just felt like my wings were like, flapping. Kind of move on. So if I could basically, if I could quit being an assistant. And she was very understanding and all of that, and offered me a position as an editor at French Vogue. And so I was an editor there for a couple of years. And then I was like, oh, Paris is very small. I need to go. And I left to New York spontaneously.
And she was still understanding? I'm sure she was very sad too.
Always been very understanding. She actually made me editor at large in New York.
Oh, okay. So you were freelancing, but you were still editor at large for French Vogue.
Exactly. But I worked for all the other Vogues. Like everybody was happy that I was coming to New York because it was like a Frenchly educated editor. So I did a lot of Japanese Vogue, Chinese Vogue. I did Spanish Vogue. I think all of the Vogues, like Russian Vogue. I did a lot, but it was all Vogue based.
Okay, and then you transitioned to InStyle.
Yes, I did at some point.
And when did you start celebrity styling? Because now it's a big part of your business.
It is actually now has become a very big part of my life. But when I started, I was asked by Nicole Kidman about styling her, because we had worked on a lot of different projects together. Like a Jimmy Choo campaign. We did a Harper's Bazaar shoot. So on and off, we kept meeting each other, kind of organically as well. So at some point, I received a phone call from Nicole, and she was like, "Oh, do you think you could eventually do that? I know that's not your job, but maybe we could add that onto your job. And it was like, okay, I was super honored, obviously. But in the same time, at that point, celebrity styling was not as renovated as now. So basically, we're looking down a little bit
Oh,
to it.
really? So because it was a bit less creative,
But
it was considered less creative.
it was like Los Angeles people, you know, it's very, very interesting because now that's not at all like this anymore. But at that point, like I was almost like thinking, should I do it or not? Totally crazy, because also Nicole is a wonderful person. And I mean, who else do you want to dress than her if you do celebrities? So, but it was really just a decision of going that direction or not, which at that point was not,
obvious.
It wasn't obvious, and it was almost like contradictory with being a Vogue editor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very, very interesting. Now, obviously, I mean, that's how you, it has become very, very important. But I'm happy that I got into it when it was not that important, because I feel like then it really came from the bottom of my heart. Try it, you know? And I had a wonderful time. And then, you know, other people came to ask me to style them, plus the InStyle job where I did like covers with basically the biggest of everyone. I just really enjoyed meeting those people too. They're very, you know, it's just very different than models sometimes. They're like not, let's not say elderly, but they're like grown women with a career, with a character, with also opinions. And you need to gain their trust because they accept what you're trying to portray in them, no?
So there's a psychology component.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's a lot in fashion anyways, I think. I always wanted to be either a psychologist or a fashion person.
Now you realize that it's a little bit the same, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is a lot. I mean, any creative job is, you know. I love humans, and I love women who have their, you know, a certain path and a certain past, and I think that's very interesting to meet those people and then to create an image that works with who they are at that moment, the movies they do, all of that.
And it's so important for them because it can really propel their career. One look on the red carpet can change everything.
It would make me think about that.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's the same for the Oscars. You know, I don't really realize, you know, I don't want to think of it as important, because I think in the world, there's incredibly more important things. So I sometimes even feel guilty doing this job. But in the same, and I just don't want to realize that the pictures are going to be everywhere, because that would like limit me in my
Oh, I completely understand. It's for the same for me when I write a story. If I put too much pressure on myself, I can't write it.
Exactly. You just have to ignore the fact how important it actually might be, because there's still more important things in the world than those. So I like to see it that way.
But it's interesting what you're saying about celebrity styling. I guess it's because of social media. Now the images on the red carpet are literally everywhere, and there's this media impact value that goes with it. So that's why it's more important, and the job of celebrity stylist is more important, maybe.
I do believe also that brands need more of a story, and I think it's kind of bring a story with her, or you know, and I do believe, of course, that a celebrity brings a name that gets much more clicks and this and that. But I also think that it's about to tell a story. Like if a brand chooses a celebrity instead of a model, I think it says more about the brand in a way.
So you really have to get it right. Oh, sorry, I keep saying that with a look.
Well, yeah, I mean, I try to get it right anyways.
Yes. So I noticed for the Oscars, so you picked Armani couture dress for Nicole Kidman, but it's a little bit different from the one on the runway. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We always work together with a brand in a way, to tweak it a little bit. I've done that with Armani because Armani is wonderful. Like their craftsmanship is incredible, so I trust them a lot, and it's always very work with them. but also they're open to maybe little tweaks in the dress or things like that, which is wonderful. And so we change the dress slightly, obviously keeping, the integrity of the brand. But for example, I look like what other details are there in the show, the same show season, and then pull these out and maybe add them to a dress that, existed already, but in a different way.
Yeah, those black flowers were so beautiful on the dress. That was really stunning.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So what's the process when you work with a celebrity, for example, for the Oscars or for the Met Gala? How many dresses do you pick? And then how is the edit? How long does it take? Can you give us a sense of the process?
I would say, there's an haute couture always very close to the Oscars, which is in January. So usually if you work with a brand that has haute couture, which I try for Nicole always, because I think the craftsmanship is so amazing, then you get there during these shows and then start working with the brand on doing something that's maybe a little different than from the runway. So it's a little more made to measure, but made to measure not even, because Nicole fits everything, but it's maybe a little different than than what was on the runway.
Okay. And then you choose with a celebrity, I guess. Many feelings goes into it.
And it's a back and forth. With Nicole, it's very creative back and forth.
And we have a question from our friend Celine, who says, is there anyone you dream of working with?
I would say probably Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Celeb or photographer? Okay, let's name a photographer now.
Oh, I worked a lot with Peter Lindbergh and I loved it. And I worked with also with Karl Lagerfeld. I love that too. It's just like icons that have an incredible vision, and I felt honored to work with them.
Yeah. And Karl Lagerfeld, you mentioned the documentary you're working on. What's the angle of the documentary? Can you tell us a little bit about it? No, you
can't. Not yet.
No. Okay.
No.
And someone asked before, who are you styling for the Met Gala? Can you share? Can you disclose in advance? Or? No.
No. Sorry.
Another question, do you consider small brands, or how can small brand get your attention?
Oh, small brands can get my attention anyway. You remember that Gigi cover for Insta, wearing a necklace with the name of her son, because that was slightly after she had her son. So that was on Instagram. I just saw this brand who was making named necklaces with pearls and very cute and innocent. And I just wrote them and I said, I have a shoot in 3 days. Can you make it?
Wow.
and the brand, I think, profited of that exposure. It was a tiny.
I'm sure it's very rewarding for you, right? You can see that your work has a big impact.
I don't want to think that way.
Okay.
But no, yeah, of course, it is rewarding. It is rewarding. It is rewarding.
There was a lot of talk this week about celebrity styling because of the Low Roach post. What's your experience? He said in his post that all the politics, the lies, and what else? He said that got me. What's your experience of celebrity styling and of the industry in general?
Well, first of all, I have to say retiring would never be an option, because even my parents, 70, are not retired, because we love what we do. So it doesn't feel like work most of the time, And I think that's what's super important. That's what I try to teach my children, that they find something that they love to do, because then it doesn't, I'm sure Law is incredible. I think he's extremely talented, and he just didn't feel comfortable with it anymore, I guess. So he has every right to do what he wants to do, I think. And it's a brave decision. I personally wouldn't take it because I can't. I have 2 kids in private school, and so retiring is not an option.
Okay. But, and walking the runway of a brand, is that an option?
Failed. I would say.
We'd love to see you on the runway.
No, I'm a very shy person, actually. I think people don't realize it, but I'm not. I don't like to be out there, and I'm rather insecure and shy a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have to force yourself to push yourself a little bit in your job.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. It's always good to push yourself.
For sure. Yeah, I listened to the conversation of Law Roach with The Cut, and he mentioned the gatekeeper. He said that was really the issue for him, the gatekeepers. I guess he meant the publicist, and he said the relationship with his celebrities were not well accepted, the close relationship he had.
Oh, I mean, I think you can analyze everything. I like to go along with everyone, and I think they have their role, and you have to respect a little bit the roles. I hate conflict, so I try to everyone to with kindness and I guess education.
What do you envision for your future? So we got it. You're not going to retire, which is great news for us. Not anytime soon, or never, actually.
Yeah. Because being freelance also, you kind of can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough.
So what would you like to do more? Maybe more collaborations, like the one we mentioned with No Massé.
Oh yeah, that was a collaboration, and I actually do miss creativity a little bit in being a celebrity stylist. Although I work with Armani in a creative way and all of that, but before I was doing a lot of consulting, brands like building up for the fashion show and kind of creating more like, with the designer. Even choosing the buttons or like working on an embroidery, having a vision and all of that, and I really enjoy that, so I'm gonna go back into that a little more.
And it's back to what we were saying in the beginning, the fact that you have the background as a designer. So.
Yeah, it's kind of satisfying to be able to actually say something that's possible to make. And I think it's appreciated also by the brand. So
yeah, I'm sure. And
I love the long-term process. Sometimes there's a lot of things in the business which are very, very short-term. I do like something that's a bit longer term, meaning including in the casting, the music, the whole vision. So I would like to work more on long-term projects as well. I'm open to anything, but I also would like to work again on my website, which I have been putting to sleep during the times of, it was just a lot that I felt like it's not really necessary, because what was going on in the world, I was like, So the last post that is on my website is actually the funds for Ukraine. So, but I feel again motivated. I feel again like I think people need maybe help as well with their wardrobe, and I love what I did on the website. Is I never accepted any advertisement because I wanted it to be very real and very true, and I wanted to kind of share tips that maybe people don't have unless they have the access to it. So I just wanted to the public and sharing some things that are not obvious to share.
Yeah, I'm sure that whenever you go to a party or something, outside of the fashion world, everyone, or inside actually, everyone is asking you for tips on how to dress. I saw a story on, I can't remember which media, how to dress cooler according to you. So I read it, of course. And I found a really great tip, which was when you're hangover, you wear a clean...
By the way, I'm not, I promise.
I got you. So you said wear a clean, crisp men's shirt in light blue. Yeah. And that's definitely light blue. Or is that stripes?
It's stripes.
Okay. Okay, you're not hangover.
Makes you put together, I think. I like it. I like all the staples from men's wardrobe, to be honest, because I think that they make you look professional. And I like to be professional, and it just also gives you a little, I mentioned I was shy. It gives you a little bit more self-confidence.
That's true. A crisp shirt, a crisp men's shirt always works.
Yeah.
But
if I added a tie.
Oh, yes, you do. And we've seen a lot of ties on the runways this season at Valentino. So you were really pioneering that trend.
I mean, I wouldn't say pioneering. For me, it was very obvious in a way. It was so obvious to kind of like, to all the movement that was happening in the women's world and everything, like, being more equal. I think it was very, very, very obvious to me. But also, like the look of it.
It's interesting because I think men are wearing less and less ties, but on women, it looks really great now.
It does. It's great. I started like 4 years ago.
Oh, really? Well, I felt a lot of pressure having you as a guest. I was like, shit, what I am going to wear tonight? So I kept it very simple.
I love turtlenecks.
You do? Oh, thank you. Well, Julia, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you as a guest. It was so interesting.
I felt a lot of pressure, so I went for that shirt.
Perfect look.
And thank you.
And I hope to see you soon in Paris.
You will.
Thank you, everyone. And also thanks to Marine and Paul for introducing us.
Oh, yeah.
I'm grateful.
I love them so much. They're really great, great, great women with incredible, impeccable taste. And also, they care about the product.
Yes. They do a lot of research on sustainability, on the way they produce. That's a really great brand to check out. No Massé. Well, thank you again, Julia. Oh, yes. Wow, that's a real disco ball. And I like that they have heels as well.
Oh, yes. But comfortable heels.
Comfortable, yeah. Oh, Paul is here. Okay. Thanks. Have a lovely Sunday. And see you soon next week. I don't have a show because I'll be in Geneva for the watch fair. But the following week, my guest is Thibaut de Montalembert. He's an actor. He was in called My Agent. I don't know if you watched that show.
Yes, I did. Yeah, because I also dressed
Camille, the lead. What's her name?
Oh God, you see, I mean, we're the same. Fine.
Sophie, help us.
Yeah.
The main character in called My Agent. You dress her? Yeah, she's fantastic, right?
Yes.
And
Sigourney.
Oh yeah.
Love.
So I'm very excited to have Thibaut as a guest. He's in a theater play in Paris now. It's called Un président ne devrait pas dire ça. It's a really good one. So it will be a great show too.
I will definitely dial in.
Thank you so much, Julia. Oh,
Thank
Camille Cotin, of course. Camille Cotin?
Yes.
She's, of course. Thanks, Sophie. And hello, Valérie. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, everyone. Okay, ciao. Have a lovely evening.
I will.